Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at, and welcome to the Oro CRM business update. We're excited today to do a few things. My name is Jari Carter. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Oro CRM, and want to walk you through our agenda today as we talk together. We are going to walk through just an Oro overview for those of you that don't know who we are or are less familiar with who we are. We're going to spend just a couple of minutes introducing ourselves. We're going to talk a little bit about the market needs that we really felt like we uncovered when we built Oro CRM, and then we're going to walk through a handful of case studies through a variety of different needs and use cases. And then we will spend the majority of our time in a product demonstration that Brandon Briggs, our business development manager, who's on the call with me here today, will be walking us through. So with that, I want to take care of just one housekeeping item before we get started, and that is at the end of the call we will open up for questions and answers. The best way to pose a question is actually just to enter it into the box on the GoToWebinar, the question and answer box in the GoToWebinar control panel, and we will answer those questions at the end of the call. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about who we are. Oro was founded in 2012. Now it's a team of 70-plus passionate people led by myself, Yoav Kutner, our CTO and co-founder, and Dima Soroka, our VP of Engineering. We have a teams located throughout the world, and we are focused on one real mission, and that is building a CRM for multi-channel businesses. And what we found as we sort of began building this product is that many of the CRM products that are built today are focused on the B2B world. They start with leads, they go to opportunities that are forecasted. With those forecasted opportunities, you can close those all within the CRM, but they don't take into account the fact that you may have an e-commerce channel. You may have a B2B commerce channel. You may have in-store and online. And they really don't give you, and they don't focus on, a single view of your customers across all of your channels. Furthermore, they don't integrate marketing data so that you really can start to get a full view of your customers, not only across purchases, but across marketing campaigns and activities as well. So we are really building a CRM that provides a single view of customer across channels. Now, if you look at some of the things that Forrester and Gartner are talking about in terms of multi-channel businesses, this is one of the, if not the top priority for these businesses in 2015 and beyond, is to really understand who their customers are, what their behaviors are, to get a single view of those customers across channels. And we really do that. That is the core of what Oro CRM was built to accomplish. So with that, I want to talk through a couple of the use cases that we're starting to see. I'm going to start. Before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about our momentum. So there's no presentation that's complete without talking first through what we're doing and where we've been and how the market's reacting. And so we, since we've launched our product, have had tremendous interest. We've had over 180,000 unique site visitors. The product's been downloaded over 20,000 times. We're now in the several thousands a month of customer downloads and growing exponentially, which is a really exciting statistic for us as we continue to build the business. So with that, now I am going to talk through some of the use cases that we're seeing in the market. And I'm going to break these down into three specific groups. One is what we're doing for companies that are focused on sales and using a CRM for their sales organization. Second will be for marketing organizations, and third will be for folks that are wanting to use a CRM as a platform. And so let me start with for sales organizations and people that are primarily interested, or what use cases people have for a CRM for a sales organization. We're working with a company right now out of Australia that sells internet services. They have a B2B commerce site as a channel and part of what they're doing. They also have a traditional B2B sales channel that just takes orders directly from customers. So they were trying to organize this data and get a single view of their customer and have a CRM that their sales team could use with all the functionality that you would expect out of a traditional CRM, like being able to manage leads and opportunities and forecast those and get the single view of their customers for their sales organization. They chose Oro CRM and are in the final stages of their implementation at this point. Another interesting use case for a sales organization and for a customer service group is a grill company we're working with. This company sells grills both online and in retail channels. So if somebody, yet they still have a single subscription or a single warranty that they provide all of their customers, and whether you buy that grill on their website or whether you buy it in a store, you have access to a warranty. And so actually registering the warranty, even if you bought it in store, is a way that they connect with their customers. And so they were looking for a system to manage all of these warranties and to understand who their customers were and where they purchased their product, and get more details around the customer, understand who they are, begin to build a connection with them, and to manage the warranty process. And they chose Oro CRM as the product to help them do that. So these are the types of interesting, unique use cases that are coming out of many of our customers. Now let's look at from a marketing standpoint. One example that I've talked about because it's such a powerful one is a company called Top Deer & Shop in the Netherlands. They're one of our enterprise customers and really wanted Oro CRM from a marketing standpoint. They wanted a single view of their customers across multiple channels. They wanted better data. And with that data, they wanted to really be able to target their marketing efforts based on the type of purchases that their customers made. So what they decided to do was any customer that had purchased a type of product, it was actually a type of dog food, but had not purchased it in the last 60 days, they were going to send a customized offer to that customer, getting them back in the door. And when they did that, they actually saw a 70% increase in conversion versus traditional email marketing. So they sent those customers a specific email offer for the specific product that they know that the customers buy and like, and those customers came back and purchased. And that's the power of the segmentation and marketing capabilities that you have within Oro CRM. We have another customer, which is a daily deal customer in the U.S., who's live on our enterprise version as well. They had integrations with Zendesk, with Magento as their e-commerce platform, and with their email marketing provider, and they wanted to see down to they wanted to see on a macro level things like average customer lifetime value, average orders per customer, average time to buy from sign up to first purchase, average time between orders, and top customer service issues. They also wanted to get down to individual engagement, so they wanted to understand who their frequent purchasers were, their high-value customers. They wanted to identify who the idle customers were, and identify customers who became idle after an interaction with customer service. And all of this information is available to them through Oro CRM. So these are the types this is the type of data that we're unrolling out to marketers so that they can really understand who their customers are and begin to action that information. Now lastly, Oro CRM is a platform. we built it as a platform. The product itself, it's highly flexible. You can adjust the product to the business needs that you have. You can integrate it to the systems that you care about. We're seeing that Oro CRM as a platform is being adopted across multiple types of businesses, not just multi-channel businesses, certainly not just e-commerce businesses. We have and are working with right now a financial services company which is rolling out Oro CRM to thousands of financial advisors that they're providing very custom financial information to their customers or to their financial advisors, all through Oro CRM. We have another company in the pharmaceutical space that we're working with that again is providing highly customized CRM capabilities to their users for the pharma and healthcare industry. These are the types of use cases that we are seeing, and when we started the business we knew that we would see these, and we knew that we would see these because of the fact that we know that at least 30 to 50% of CRM systems are homegrown from scratch because of the fact that a CRM is as unique as the business itself. So many people are building these from scratch, and we actually wanted to give a layer of flexibility so that anybody thinking about starting from scratch could start with our CRM and have the flexibility to build the exact CRM that they want to build at the exact time. And with a whole lot less development effort than building at an application framework level or just purely from scratch. So with that, I want to pause. I'm going to turn it over to Brandon Briggs to walk you through our latest product demonstration. Some of the things you're going to see in this that are really exciting that we haven't shown before are the Zendesk integration. We'll talk a little bit about that. I mentioned that in one of our customers, but we'll show you that. We'll talk about our Outlook integration. We're going to show you our e-commerce dashboards, which have been a new addition as of our latest releases, and several other new features that we're really excited to talk with you about. So with that, Brandon, I'll turn it to you.
Thanks, Jari. Appreciate it. I'm really excited today to be able to show you a few of these features. As Jari mentioned, we'll cover a lot of the features that have come out as of recent. Certainly we won't get a chance to get to all of them, but I do want to show you some of those. And as a starting point, I'd like to actually jump directly into our new account page. And by doing that, what I'm going to show you here is just some overhaul that we've done to the account page. I'm going to do that in both a B2B and a B2C context. So let's start with the B2C context. I'm going to click up here on an account that I have pinned up here in the pin bar for Alan. Now, Alan's he's an account. He buys for himself. He's a pretty traditional B2C customer for us. You can see him up here, and you can also see that he's the contact, of course, at the account, and he's the one purchasing. What's interesting here kind of about Alan is we've done a few different things. One, we were able to bring kind of the lifetime sales value in aggregate right across the top here to the account view. That allows you to get a real quick glance. You can see the true value of Alan as a customer, and that lifetime sales value is actually across all channels. So we are able to come down here and see that he actually does participate in multiple of our channels here. If I go down to our electronic store channel, you can see we've got an individual lifetime sales value for this channel, as well as our Jones store channel, which is a little bit lower. Of course, all the information that you're used to seeing on a by channel, if you will, is still down here. All your orders and shopping carts and channel-specific information is here. But where it starts to get a little bit different, obviously, is just in the way we've got it organized here. So that's a pretty clear B2C example. On the B2B side, it's very similar. If I click over here onto Olympic Sports. Olympic Sports is a pretty traditional B2B customer where you can see we've got multiple contacts set up here, of course, at the account level. We still have the same lifetime sales value figures across all the channels, but if I scroll down a little bit lower, you'll actually be able to see we brought in some different information now. Because Olympic Sports does not purchase from our B2C channel, they only purchase from our B2B channel, we're able to bring just that information that's applicable right down into here, so you can see all the leads, of course, the opportunities and things like that that are representative of this B2B channel for Olympic sports. So that's just a few of the changes that we've made kind of here at the at the account level. Now, a couple of other things, though, just to point out in the last few releases. One of those is actually here with attachments. You can see we have provided a place for you to make attachments, put attachments in here. We've also provided a place for internal notes, and so those are both released about 2 releases ago, if I'm not mistaken. And certainly a new part to the account view, which many of you haven't been able to see yet. Building on top of that, I'd like to actually come up here just a little bit and talk about cases for a minute. Cases are tickets. So if I click on cases here, you can see we've got a number of different cases that have been brought into the account view. Now, these cases, and we're going to cover this toward the end as I talk about the Zendesk integration, they can work as a standalone case, but they can also work in conjunction with a third party like a Zendesk or somebody else. The Zendesk integration is the one I'll show today, but you can see that, of course, all these tickets or cases are brought directly into the account view here at this level. And then the last section here is that of emails I'd like to point out in the account view. So I'm going to come up here and set send email, which we're going to preload John into the to field here. What you can see is we've actually made a few changes directly here in the email you can actually load email templates. And so let me talk for just a minute about email templates for you. Email templates, let's say it was John's birthday. That was a task that we had assigned. We wanted to follow up. We could come down through the list. You can see we've got a birthday email here that we can click on to preload the template down into the body. In this case, it's an HTML template, and we're going to send them a nice birthday email. But instead of doing that, let me actually come over and show you where these emails are created. So I'm going to go up to System, down to Emails, and then over to Templates. And what you'll see here is, of course, we've got all the email templates that are available within Oro CRM. This first one here is our birthday email that we were just looking at. So if I click on birthday email, you can see we've done a few things here within our email templates for you. One, of course, it relates directly back to a specific entity and what entity's information you would like to pull. So you can see here it relates to the account, so we can pull in different system variables as well as entity-specific variables, to put directly into our email templates. Suppose it's first name, last name, the organization they're a part of, things like that, and these change based on which entity you're using. Now, of course, we provide a preview here. You can see we go ahead and quickly preview what our happy birthday email might look like. And this is just one example of templates and what you can do with email templates within Oro CRM. Now, moving on to the next feature that I'd like to highlight. The next feature is that of channels and channel management. Now, for those of you who have been around Oro for a while, channels were something that we introduced early on, and then we removed so that we could kind of rework those into something a little bit more broad to have a lot more potential use cases. So if I click on channels, what you're going to see is we've got a few channels loaded up in our demo instance here of Oro CRM. Channels are fairly easy to create. I can come over here, hit Create Channel. And what you can see is, we can give our channel a name, and then we also have channel types. Now, channel types, in our case here, B2B is a channel type. And what you get by loading a channel type, for example, is you get all of these entities that are going to be pre-populated, preloaded here, ready to go based on the channel. Now, B2B means we have leads and opportunities and things like sales processes ready to go. And all that information is going to get preloaded as entities based on this channel. You can always add additional entities. Come down here, including ones that you've created, custom entities. Or we can switch here. We've also got a Magento channel, one that we've preset up with information that's going to be specific to Magento. So now instead of leads and opportunities, of course, we have shopping carts, orders, and web customers. And then you can configure your integration directly here from within the channel, and you can say, let me connect to my Magento store. It's quite straightforward. But the power here is really that you are able to build these separate channels and have each customer kind of interact within their separate channel. Oftentimes we found that B2B customers, of course, don't purchase on the B2C websites. And so it's just a way of kind of streamlining and getting a very good sense of, where your customer's at and where they're purchasing. Now, the other piece that this allowed us to do is to actually separate these out. You're familiar with web customers, many of you, where all of our web customers are, of course, listed here in one, simple grid by itself. We also add the addition of B2B customers here, and so you can, from a management perspective, be able to manage these completely separate within their own grids. So that's a little bit about channels. Certainly there's a lot of additional options within channels. You can create custom channels. Those custom channels could be anything from, connections to an ERP system to, to a point of sale system, to any connection point that you'd like to pull in as a separate channel. Now, the next feature that I want to point out is actually an enterprise-only feature. It's that of our multi-organization support. So I'm going to come up here to System and actually show you how multi-organization support works within Oro CRM. Under User Management, you'll see that we actually have organizations now listed as an option, alongside, of course, business units, groups, roles, and users as well. So I'm going to click on Organizations, and what you can see here is our default organization, as you can see up here in the top left corner, is Acme Inc. Now that's our active organization. I've created a second organization called Demo Org 2, but it's currently inactive. Now these organizations are easy to create. You come up here to hit Create Organization, and you can just fill out the name and description, for example. I'm going to come into this inactive Demo Org 2 and actually click on Edit and activate this particular organization. So let me save that really quick. What you'll see is now the organization has been saved. Now, one other important thing is, of course, our user management also gives you the ability to allow users to be a part of one or more organizations. So today I'm actually just going to come into user management, click on Edit for the user that I'm logged in as, scroll down here, and you can see that we've got Demo Org 2 now that I can make this user available to. So I'm going to do that and hit Save. Let that save really quick. Now, a couple of things that you'll see is you can use from the organization support. You can have two completely, or as many as you want, completely different organizations that their data is essentially separate within Oro CRM. They don't see each other, all running within one instance of Oro CRM. To show you how that works, I'm actually going to log out of my instance of Oro CRM, and what you'll see is we've got an organization now that's been added to our login screen. So you can easily select, which organization you'd like to log in as. I'm going to hit Demo Org 2 and just log in as Demo Org 2. And what you'll see here is, of course, now we're in Demo Org 2, and we're able to have, it's a completely blank organization that we can now start setting up from scratch. So that's the way it works. Now we also have a little menu over here that allows for kind of fast organization switching. If I click on, Acme 2, you can see that I already have credentials to log into Acme 2, so it logs me directly in. That's a little bit about how the multi-organization feature works. It's a great feature, allows for one installation of Oro CRM that can effectively, utilize multiple organizations. We have a few customers who are using this, or at least getting set up to use this feature, as it's a fairly new feature. A lot of use cases about how you could do that and only have to manage one code base on one server. So that's the multi-organization feature and how that would work. Let me move on to our one of our dashboards actually that has been created. This is, of course, the standard dashboard that you're all used to seeing. But if I come over here, I've created another dashboard in here called e-commerce. Now, what I want to show you here is we do have some e-commerce specific widgets now that come preloaded with Oro CRM that you can take advantage of. So I've loaded those widgets directly onto the screen here, onto this dashboard. You can see we have some more e-commerce specific information now, things like average order amount, new web customers, average lifetime sales, all this information, of course. Now this is on a dashboard of its own using the multi-dashboard feature. However, you could embed these anywhere you'd want in your own dashboards, create new dashboards, and include these widgets, when and where it makes the most sense for your business. So some great information here, a nice way to visualize this and not simply look at, go to report to look at it, but in a widget on the dashboard. Now, the last kind of major area that I would like to cover, within Oro CRM, and the feature set is that of marketing. Now, over the last couple of releases, we've actually added a substantial amount of information. Well, we created the marketing in general, and then we've added a number of features to the marketing tab here that I'd like to just point out for you today. The first of which is actually tracking websites. I'm going to come down, click on tracking websites. And what you'll see here is, of course, you can launch various different tracking websites. I can hit Create Tracking Website here, and they're easy to create and generate, proprietary code, if you will, that can be installed on your website. So let me click on Tracking Websites for our electronics store that we've been using in our demo today. What you'll see here is we've got, of course, some JavaScript tracking code here that has been created. And this tracking code does support the use of kind of multiple events that you can push information into. So whatever events are the most important for you and your business, for an e-commerce business certainly might be, purchases, newsletter signups, things like that. For other businesses, there might be other actions taken on your website that you want to record a specific value to and record as an event. So that is completely customizable based on of course, your use of Oro CRM. Now, how does this differ than, many of the other analytic programs that are out there? Let's take Google Analytics, for example. The biggest thing that you'll find is that, of course, we are tying this information directly back to customers or contacts, if you will, within Oro CRM. And so if you look here, what we're able to see is, we've identified Adam Thompson here by his email address and some of the actions that he has taken on our website, items that he's added directly to his shopping cart, products that he's viewed, and of course all of this information ties directly back to this Oro CRM contact. We're able to use that information, in reporting, within segmentation, within our marketing efforts, wherever you'd like to use it, to be able to identify the things that Adam is really truly interested in, to be able to build a true sense for who Adam is as a customer, what his interests are, and how can you can effectively market directly to Adam. So where Google Analytics and some of these other tools fall a little short, of course, is they leave the customer as an anonymous customer. We try to fill in those blanks there. Certainly there's a lot of value in those other tools and the data they collect, but we would like to tie actual visitor and site behavior directly back to a visitor so you can use them in your marketing initiatives. So that's a little bit about tracking websites. Now, these marketing initiatives build on top of each other. So from tracking websites, let me go down to campaigns and campaign management. What you can see here is we have a list of campaigns within Oro CRM. Some of these campaigns are online, some of them are offline. As you can see, we've got television commercials, and then we've got some traditional like Google AdWords for online and e-commerce type marketing, and so on. Now, all of these campaigns, I'll just click on Google AdWords just to pull this up. What you're able to do is you're able to generate two things, and the code, if you will, the tracking campaign code that is created here interacts directly with the tracking website code that you've already now embedded on your website. So, we do give you the ability to generate URL parameters. So if you're sending out emails, you can attach these URL parameters to those emails and be able to, record where that visit actually came from, directly in your campaign here. The other thing we're able to do down here, as you can see with this set of code, is support, a landing page push, for example. Now, there's a number of different examples of how you potentially use this. One really creative example that, that I've really liked is that of a customer who had multiple stores. I think they had about 100, 150 retail store locations, and they wanted to tie information back, visitors who visited the in-store and perhaps either made a purchase or didn't make a purchase in-store that ultimately went back online and purchased. They wanted to attribute those to which store that customer had originally entered. And the way they did that is they built store-specific landing pages. Of course, they put this code directly in on that landing page, and we were able to track those customers who had visited in store and then ultimately made an online purchase, so that that store kind of understood and knew, that the benefit that they provided to the overall online store. So, certainly that's one interesting use case. There's a lot of different ways that you can use the campaign management tools that are here within Oro CRM. But again, the goal here is to be able to tie all this information directly back to the customer, so you know which customers are interacting with which campaigns, so that you can target them more effectively. So that's campaign management. Moving on, I want to talk about two new features specific to this last release that we just did. The first of which is marketing lists. Marketing lists is essentially a way of creating a segment of your customer base to be able to market to. I've got a couple of these marketing lists created here. One that I just created called Open Shopping Carts. I'm going to actually open this, and you can see we've got a list here of everyone essentially that has an open shopping cart that we would like to reach out to. I'm going to come up to the top and hit Edit. I want you to be able to see how easy these marketing lists are to create. Of course, give it a name here in this case. We're actually looking at our shopping cart entity, because that's what we want to do. There's lots of options here. Anything with specific contact information, anything about your web customers, your leads, your contact shopping carts, all of that information can be used to generate marketing lists. Now, I'm going to make this as a dynamic segment. I've come over here on the left-hand side. I've added a few columns: first name, last name, and email address. But as you can see, of course, works very much like our segmentation and reporting tool, where you can come over here, add the additional, the additional columns that you'd like to see within the segment if that's important to you. And then on the right-hand side, we've got some filters here. Now, I've just added a filter about, we only want to look at shopping carts that are over $500. So I'm going to change our title and say Open Shopping Carts over $500 here, and then save that. This, again, if I come back now, what you're left with is you've got a marketing list that's ready to be targeted based on the criteria that you've defined. Now, marketing lists, of course, can be exported. If you'd like to export those, take them into another tool. But more specifically, they're used now with our email campaign functionality. So if I click on email campaigns, what you'll see here is we can set up multiple email campaigns, and the information here, it's very basic in regards to what email campaign you want to do. Now, I've got one here called Demo Campaign. You can see that it has not been sent yet. You can see the list that I'm targeting down below here, and that we're going to use our marketing list called Marketing List of Contacts. We could easily change that, of course, and use our shopping cart list that we had just created. If I hit Send, of course, it'll do just that, right? It'll send the email, but I'm going to come over and hit Edit, just so that you can see the information that we have available here within email campaigns. Of course, you can name it, choose your marketing list. You can set it up on a schedule, whether it's a manual, whether you just want to send it at a certain point by yourself, or whether you want to defer it for a period of time. Of course, sender name and email address here, and then you choose a campaign that we've got set up from our campaigns list if you want to associate it back to a campaign. And then ultimately, right, we're getting down to the bottom where we're choosing a template that we want to send from, and I showed you email templates earlier, and then we're choosing a transport mechanism. Now, the reason we included transport mechanisms, we have customers who do all kinds of different things with their email marketing. Now, you can use Oro CRM directly as a transport for your email. Of course, we believe that Oro CRM works best when combined in conjunction with some of these other, third-party sending tools. Whether it's, for example, whether it's a Mandrill, whether it's a Mailchimp, whatever the tools that you are using, Bronto, ListTrack. Again, all of these could be potential options as a transport mechanism for your email to take advantage of some of the things that they've spent, years building. So that's a little bit about email campaigns. Now, all this information again that you'll find from the marketing perspective, it all ties back to customers and customer interactions. So that if within one tool you're able to measure this, see the customers who engage with some of these email campaigns, for example, and be able to separate them as a segment and work with them directly. So that's a little bit about the marketing section of Oro CRM. There's quite a bit there. There's a pretty substantial overhaul to some of the things that we've done. And the tools, they work really well now, and we have a really strong roadmap of additional features that we'll be adding to each of these sections. Of course, marketing is no stranger to that. So the last part that I'd like to talk about now is actually that of kind of integrations and plugins. We've done a few things with Oro CRM, that you can now utilize from the outside of Oro CRM. The first thing that I'd like to show you actually is our integration with Microsoft Outlook. This is an enterprise specific feature. What you'll see here is, of course, we have Outlook loaded here. It's pretty basic. You can see my contacts here. I have no contacts within Outlook. By installing the Oro CRM plugin for Outlook, what you do, you get this side panel. Of course, the side panel can be hidden, if it's not something you want to do. You've got, various different options from an add-in perspective here. And basically what you're able to do is you're able to sync Oro CRM with contacts that you have stored within, sync Outlook with contacts that you have stored within Oro CRM. Now, there is a two-way sync that does take place. There are some options here. You can update, for example, if we were to, run back over to Oro CRM, you can see what we can do is we can update information there, have it funneled directly back down into Outlook, or have Outlook push that information back up. But just for the sake of a demo today, what I wanted to show you here is that we're syncing, looks like about 2,300 contacts from Oro CRM down into Outlook, and what you're seeing here, of course, they're popping up on the screen, and you're able to fill your Outlook information, contacts directly from information in Oro CRM. Now we have all this information we're pulling down, right? So any information that is available, all the way down to birth date, for example, all of that information is being synced, as part of this connection. So with that being said, let me close this. I think you get a picture for that. And then take and talk about one last integration point, and that's with Zendesk. So let me come over, first of all, to cases. Now, again, we talked about how cases and case management were something that we introduced, a couple releases ago. But what you're able to see here, let's just, click on maybe policy edits from legal here. We'll click on this particular case, and what you can see here, we've got some information directly about this case here, or this ticket. We can, of course, add comments. We can do whatever we'd like to do to kind of manage this case within Oro, but we can also see that this particular ticket also originated from Zendesk. And so, with our Zendesk integration, we've got things like ticket number, of course, submitter, and if it's already assigned to a specific account, for example, here within Oro CRM. So that's one thing here. Now, from a setup standpoint, the Zendesk integration is just that, right? It's an integration. So if I click on the integration, you can see here, it's all set up just as you would expect. We do have support for two-way sync between Zendesk and Oro. And then, of course, you get a pretty easy kind of readout below here just in regards to what's happening, for troubleshooting purposes. Now, what I'd like to do, I'm going to open up cases one more time here. And what you'll see here, let's just come down and find another case here. And you can see that this case was created completely within Oro. So this doesn't have Zendesk, credentials down below, but we are able to publish this case directly to Zendesk if that's something that we, if we wanted to do that. And we have some options there. You could, use one or more potential Zendesk integrations, but you could push this back up to Zendesk. Now, likewise, you can also go to Zendesk. So if I open Zendesk here, let's say, our customer support team is used to using Zendesk, and so, we want to come and continue allowing them to use this. So we can come in here, choose any information just to show you how, what this might look like. You can create tickets, assign them, do everything that you would do within Zendesk, for example. And we'll just say it's a test case. Record any description that you'd want. Of course, submit that. We'll do test description as well. And we'll submit that as new. Now, this information, right, you can use all of Zendesk features, whether it's public facing, whether it's their internal tool, but all of these cases can and will sync directly back down into Oro CRM. By default, that sync is actually set up for about 5 minutes, but that can also be customized. You can change that to whatever makes the most sense for you, as often as you like to sync. Now, of course we can always come into the integration as well, and then just actually go through the schedule sync job here, and then see what the results are. So if I schedule that sync, you're able to see that a job has been created, and that synchronization process will take place. So that's a little bit about how the Zendesk integration works. Now, you can, just to reiterate, you can come back over to cases here within Oro CRM, and let's click on damaged shipment here. You can see that this can be published. You can make comments. So if you want to hit add comment, once it's published to Zendesk, you'll have a little button down here that's make public, and again, use all the tools and functionality that's available there. So that's a little bit about how the Zendesk integration works. I will tell you that the Zendesk integration has been one of the more popular ones. It's downloaded a few hundred times over the last little bit, and certainly one that we see expanding in the future as well. So I'll probably end there, and we'd be happy to take some questions. Jari, I'll turn the time back over to you.
Thanks so much, Brandon. Great job. I'd love to answer just any questions that come up. I don't see any questions in the Q&A. I'm going to give about 30 to 45 seconds for questions to be here, and if we don't have any questions, we'll end just a few minutes early, but really appreciate everybody being on today. I'm going to hang tight here for some questions. Okay, don't see any questions popping up in the Q&A. Means probably we just answered everything that there ever could be questions about, I think, Brandon. So good job on that. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Brandon. You can reach out to us just at jari@orocrm.com or brandon@orocrm.com. We'd love to take your questions. We'd love to answer and get engaged however we can with you and your projects going forward. Thanks so much for being with us today, and have a great day.